Are you constantly blowing accounts and losing prop firm challenges? You're going to thank me later for this one. Let's go deeper. Hey guys, how's it going? JD here. So I read this post and it said that discipline solves 90% of life's issues. I submit to you that risk management, proper risk management solves 90% of trading problems. And you may not believe that, but in this video, we are going to go really deep on the power of proper risk management. And so, people don't want to talk about risk management, right? We only want to talk about profits. We only want to talk about win percentage. But to really be successful, you have to manage risk, because at the end of the day, risk is the only thing that you have control over in trading, really. Everything else is random or probabilities. Risk is the only thing that you can make concrete in trading. And it's the key. It is truly the key. I'm going to show you here that most of the problems that you face, the origin always comes back to risk. All right. So example number one, right? Over trading. When you're over trading, let's say that you have a hard stop of $500, right? If I lose $500, I'm done for the day. That's your trading strategy. Okay. Well, once you hit that $500 and you keep trading, right? And you're now quote unquote over trading, what are you really doing? You're risking too much for that day. That's it, right? So if you're over trading, you are indulging in bad risk management. There you go, right? There you go. Now, number two, let's say, a lot of people love to do this. Let's say you enter a trade, the trade goes against you, okay? And you're typically at one contract on the ES, right? Trade goes against you, you decide to add another contract. You decide to double up while you're down, right? Bad move, okay? Sometimes it'll work out, I understand. But when it doesn't work out, what did you just do, right? Because your strategy was to be at one contract on the ES. But because you went down, right, and because you were hopeful when you should have been fearful, you added on another contract, and let's say you lose, right? So what did you do right there? You added on, so you took on too much risk, okay? Over trading, adding on when you're down. Those are just two quick examples of, you're losing coming down to risk. All right, got another one for you. Let's say that, and this is kind of like the last one, but let's say you enter a trade, it goes against you. You got your stop 5 points away, right? Then it starts to come down. It said like 2.5 against you. And you just say, you know what? I'm gonna give it some more room, right? You give it another 5 points. Well, what did you just do? You just increased your risk while the market was telling you that you're wrong. It's the same thing as doubling up when you're down. Those two basically go hand in hand, right? But I could toss in revenge trading, all right? I could talk in just risking too much in general for your account. I can just throw in there risking 10% of trade or 15% of trade or 20% of trade. All of this stuff, right? Just think about it. This is the stuff that most struggling traders do each and every day. And it all comes down to risk, right? It all comes back down to bad risk management. And until you start to manage your risk, until you start to prioritize risk over profits, the profits are going to run from you because because risk is going to get you out the game. Okay. Risk is going to get you out the game. So what I want to do here is I have an old account from a funded challenge that I actually passed. But I want you to look at these numbers because I'm going to show you in this video how most people focus on the wrong metrics. All right. Most people focus on the wrong metrics when you should be focusing on risk. All right. So let's go over to this monitor real quick. All right. So we're on the monitor. So look at this trade win percentage, 30%. If you were to ask me, hey Jay, what's your win percentage? and I was to say 30%, you would immediately say, oh, this dude can't trade, right? Most people will tell me I'm a bad trader because I trade at 30%, all right? Now, full disclosure, I typically trade better than 30%. This is a bad week, but this illustrates my point perfectly. Most people would be like, dude, you only trade at 30%, you know what I'm saying? You're terrible. And that's because most people focus on the wrong metrics, okay? Now, yeah, I only traded at 30%, but I made $6,300. You know, I made $6,000. Well, how did I do that, right? That's the question. How did I trade at 30% and still made $6,000? Glad you asked. I have an answer for you. First, the metrics you should focus on. First, I just want to point out that even with, oh, you can't see my screen. A profit factor indicates a profit factor of 1 or above, and you can't see it, sorry, because of my screen here, indicates that you have a profitable trading system, all right? So just with my profit factor being at 2.37 and still only trading 30%, my system, my price action trading system is profitable. But let me point out the metrics you should pay attention to, and it's right here, okay? On this account, I kept my losses at 256. No matter what, every loss was 256, but my average win was $1,300. You see that? That's how I made $6,000 only trading at 30%, because I focused on my risk, all right? I focused on my risk. By focusing on the risk of each trade, just making sure, hey, I'm not losing more than 250. I'm not losing more than 250. I set up my trading strategy that at the end of the day, I'm not losing more than 250, all right? And so I stayed alive long enough to catch those big ones, all right? And when I caught those big ones, you know, my average win loss is 5 to 5.34, okay? So what I'm saying here is you need to change your mind from don't worry about the profit, worry about the risk, all right? Worry about becoming disciplined enough to make sure, and my number was 250, your number may be lower, it may be higher, whatever the case, but make sure whatever number you decide to land on, as far as your risk management, you don't lose more than that. So on average, 256, but my wins, $1,300. And that's how you can actually trade at 30% and make $6,000, okay? All right. So now from here, I just want to show you just a trade. You know, I want to start adding in some trade examples. And so I'm gonna run the trade example, check this out, and then we'll come back. Hey guys, how's it going? So we got a range here. Looks like we're gonna break out. It was very slow breakout, but we see we're holding now, but it's 21 EMA, so we're clearly trending up. And we just broke out of this area. Now this is the current high of the day right here from this non-farm payroll report. But see, we hit this area right here and dropped really hard. So I'm interested to see if we power through this area. If we do, I'll wait for it. Okay, here we go, powering through. But this actually was this was just a tough entry. You know, actually this range, this range may be off a little bit. We got more touches there. We really got more touches here. That kind of looks better now. So I will call this the breakout. So here's our breakout. I will wait for a pullback, then go. So that's the play. Seeing if we're gonna get a breakout pullback here. All right, here we come. We barely broke that high, and this kind of was coming back pretty strong at first. We will see. See if it comes back and test that breakout area. I'll tell you what I noticed here, that these green candles here were small. All of these boys, except for this one, were relatively small. That's sometimes a sign. Now we've broken back in, actually too strong. And if I go back a little bit, what I kind of see is this is a leg. Well, this one didn't make it. Okay, so but we got rejection. Here's the breakout pullback. Got the rejection. Pushing back up strong. We're gonna go for it.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Go again at 18.
Order submitted.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. 13, yeah, 18, 75. All right, this is our breakout pullback entry. This is making a high, lower high, just not what we want. But I see it clear as day. High, push down, lower high. We need to, okay, the EMA held. We got to push up right here, right now. All right, now we can see a second entry long. We need a second entry long to trigger. Okay. Put close on your top. Close on your top. This would be a good second entry long. Close on your top. Close on your top. Close on your top. Second entry long. Close higher than the bar to the left. There you go. Close on your top. Good close.
Order filled.
Let's move out of risk here. Moved out of risk. Push up, push up, push up, push up, push up. Push up, push up, push up, push up, push up. Push up, push up, push up.
Stop filled.
Good trade. All right, I hope you enjoyed that trade example. So now I want to share something with you that this is what you're going to thank me for later. If you didn't even understand that risk part, we're going to go even deeper, especially for my people who are trying to pass funded challenges. All right. And I kind of touched on it earlier. You need to make sure that you keep your risk to a level that keeps you in the game, okay? On that account that I just showed you, I kept myself in the game because I made sure I only lost 250. But then when I hit those big ones, I'm still able to make money, all right? So now the problem in most funded challenges is you're looking at the wrong numbers. Like most people looking at, okay, I bought a 25K account, 50K account, or 100K account, but you don't have 100K, right? On the 100K account, you got $3,000. If you lose $3,000, the challenge is over, all right? So that's what you should base your numbers off of, okay? So here's the thing, here's the tip, all right? Here's the pro tip right here. If you are blowing out challenges, right? If you are consistently losing funded challenges and you're trading the ES, that's your problem. You need to trade micros. You need to trade the MES, okay? One contract on the ES at one point is $50 a point, right? One contract on the MES is $5 a point. So you could go to the micros, okay? And on your $3,000 account, you could risk $100 per trade and you're just at 3% a trade. That will keep you in the game long enough to catch the big hits, okay? If you go to micros, make sure you only risk or lose $100 per trade, and you do the same thing that I just did here, where my wins is 5 times my losses. So in this case, when you lose 100, but when you win 500. That's what you want, okay? So if you're blowing out accounts in the ES, go to micros, all right? And I know what you're thinking, like, Jay, on micros, making $6,000, it's gonna take forever. Well, forever is probably about a month, right? And that would be better than blowing the account out and then restarting and paying $100. You might as well, you see what I'm saying? You might as well stay alive. Stop paying $100 to restart. You might as well stay alive, trade on micros, and if it takes a month, it takes a month. But I'll tell you, I've been dibbling dabbling on micros lately, and I've had a $600 day, a $900 day. You know what I'm saying? I actually passed the challenge on the 25K account in 2 days on micros, and I had to make 1,500. So believe me when I say you can still make good money on micros, right? Don't discount micros just because. And that's the thing. Most people are trying to get there too fast, okay? Trying to get there too fast. If it takes a little bit long, hey, it takes a little bit longer, but at least you saved money. At least you didn't blow an account, right? And at least you got and passed the challenge, right? So stop focusing on passing the challenge quickly. Focus on your risk, all right? If you focus on managing your risk, and some people don't need to drop down, some do. Make a decision for yourself, okay? But I'm telling you, that's what's messing you up. More than likely, if you are blowing accounts all the time, you're losing prop firm challenges all the time, it's more than likely that your risk management is not up to par. And it's very easy to get it up to par. Just drop down the micros, risk $50 a trade, risk $100 a trade, okay? And you can still make money. You can still make enough to pass the challenge, and you can still make enough to, after you pass the challenge, to make good money, all right? Like I just said, I made $1,500 in 2 days, okay? You can still make good money on micros. So that's the tip right there. That's the pro tip. You're blowing out accounts, drop down the micros, risk $100 on a 100K account, that's only 3%, and you're gonna stay in the game long enough to catch those big runs. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please hit that like button, share a comment with me, share your experiences with me. I'm trying to tell you, this one here is this could be a game changer for you. If you've been blowing out accounts, it's probably because you're risking too much. You manage that risk, and then you can start winning, even if you only traded 30%. And I definitely want to say one more time, 30% is not my normal, okay? 30% is not my normal. That was a terrible week. And I still made $6 grand. Just throw that out there, all right? So just think if I had traded at 50% that week. Wowzer, you see what I'm saying? You gotta have a good system, which our price action trading system is awesome, and you gotta manage your risk. You do those two things, you'll be in the business, all right? So If you need to learn how to trade, check the link I'll leave in the description. And until next time, my name is JD, and as always, I wish you increase on the Sutton. Bye-bye.